Hello, I'm Dr. Randy Hansbrough. I have been in practice in Stuart, Florida since 1981, and I am what is known as a board-certified chiropractic neurologist. I practice functional neurology and functional medicine. Some people call it holistic medicine. This is a drug-free approach to healing, and it utilizes body-friendly, natural therapies to help you live healthfully. I received my certification through the world-renowned Carrick Institute for Graduate Studies, and I'm registered with the American Chiropractic Neurology Board. This board is under the auspices of the National Commission for Certifying Agencies, which is the level of certification for doctors recognized worldwide as the gold standard for medical and chiropractic physicians. I say this because I have to meet stringent ongoing education requirements each and every year to maintain certified status, which is really no small feat. I do this because I love to stay current with scientific breakthroughs, and I want to help you get to the root of your neuropathic condition as much as humanly possible. There are two types of neuropathy, diabetic and non-diabetic. In the diabetic category, it's essentially a blood sugar dysregulation problem. As the blood sugar is continuing to be regulated in an abnormal fashion, over time, there are damage to blood vessels, especially the small ones, which ultimately results in reduced delivery to nerves. When the nerves do not get enough oxygen, they undergo what we call demyelinization. That means the covering over the nerves, which is like an insulation, decomposes and allows the nerve to become raw. This is very painful, and it leads to burning, pain, and pins and needles. Very often with diabetic neuropathy, there can also be an autoimmune component, which we'll talk about shortly. But if this is not brought under control and is allowed to continue and become severe, in its severest form, it can result in amputation of toes and other parts. So we certainly want to control your blood sugar to prevent all of this from progressing to either amputation or blindness or other very serious conditions. So it is critical that if you have diabetic neuropathy, it is kept under control, and most likely that's going to be a combination between your medical doctor and whatever I can do for you to keep the blood sugar issues under control and help the nerves heal as much as possible. Now there's another type. This other type of neuropathy is referred to as non-diabetic neuropathy. It can result from trauma to the spine or to the nerves. It can also result from trauma to the brain. It can result from autonomic dysfunction in the brainstem relating to brain imbalance. It can result from autoimmunity, which we discussed a few minutes ago. And if you are genetically vulnerable to a nerve condition and you become autoimmune, meaning your antibodies are very high in population, they can attack the nerves and cause them to demyelinate in a similar way that sugar can. Non-diabetic neuropathy can also be caused by B vitamin dysregulation or absorption, the most common one being pernicious anemia or vitamin B12 deficiency. And non-diabetic neuropathy can ultimately be involved with intestinal dysfunction as well. Now, neuropathy's root cause is blood sugar dysregulation and autoimmunity, which comes from an out-of-control immune system that has been triggered by an infection, chronic allergy, food sensitivity, or a combination of these things. A lot of study and research has gone into this, and that is why we must uncover the underlying reason for why you have neuropathy. It is critical to understand that drugs will never cure you, and while they may be useful for temporary periods, every effort must be made to find out what the problem is, because if you don't, you will likely get worse over time while your doctor gives you more drugs to combat the side effects of the drugs you are now taking. I have helped many people with neuropathy, and there is certainly an excellent chance that I can do the same for you. I care about people and I want to see you healthy again. Now, in order to do this, we will have to run lab tests and look at your blood, urine, and saliva to see what your problems are, and then correct them with potent nutritional products referred to as nutraceuticals. Now, unlike pharmaceuticals, which are drugs, nutraceuticals work by rebuilding your health on a cellular level, helping your body repair itself so your body isn't under so much stress all the time. Now, according to abundant research worldwide, you stand a much better chance of succeeding this way compared to the drugs that you've been taking. And once you experience for yourself the difference, you'll never want to go back to the old way of doing things. You'll realize that your symptoms were worse when you were taking drugs for neuropathy or other things like insomnia, fatigue, depression, loss of libido, bowel dysfunction, memory and concentration problems, joint pain, muscle aches, tingling and burning, and the list really goes on from there. You probably wouldn't be watching this video if you were happy with the treatment that you've been getting. I want you to know that I really care about my patients, and if you become one of them, I will turn over every known stone until we find out why you are suffering. Another reason that is often overlooked is the effect that the brain has on neuropathy. This is because when the brain is underperforming, it's weaker in various areas, it becomes fatigued and much more sensitive to pain signals from around your body. This is why many people are put on antidepressant medications that are designed to suppress the emotional aspect of living in constant pain, and that is also why you might start putting on weight, even if you exercise and eat small portions. So, as a functional neurologist, I am specially trained to help balance your brain and allow it to work better and not be so sensitive to pain. Now, sometimes antidepressants are prescribed for the emotional aspect of living in constant pain, and as I said before, can help cause you to put on this extra weight. The reason drugs can cause weight gain is because they disrupt brain chemistry and they decrease metabolic activity. This is why it is so important to have a fully functioning brain without drugs interfering in natural processes. Let's take a look at how this works. Let's take a look at how the brain is involved in neuropathy. To better understand that, we're going to review the two halves of the brain. On the left side of the brain, the left hemisphere we call it, that's primarily involved in analytical types of functions like logic, language, science, and math. The right side of the brain, the right hemisphere, is involved primarily in creative types of perceptions, such as intuition, holism, music, and art. So on the right side of the brain, we appreciate art, or we create art, and on the left side of the brain, we perform mathematics, we speak, we write, and we solve problems, and we solve calculations in science, and so forth. It's important that these two halves of the brain be as balanced as they can be, although most people will be dominant on one side or the other. But the more balance that we can get it, the better we are. On the lower part of the brain, you have the left cerebellum and the right cerebellum. And you'll notice how that the cerebellum crosses over to the left hemisphere and the left cerebellum crosses over the right hemisphere. So again, the right cerebellum crosses over to the left hemisphere, and the left cerebellum crosses over to the right hemisphere. This means that the nerve fibers communicate in a crisscross fashion. This means that the two halves of the cerebellum cross over to the opposite side of the brain with these fibers and communicate in a crisscross fashion right where they intersect at the brain stem. Now, this is important because the brain stem controls heart rate, blood pressure, respiration, digestion, sleep, and temperature regulation, among other functions that we don't have to think about. And we want all of this to be balanced. When it's all balanced, your limbic system, and this is where it all ties together with pain, your limbic system is going to be less agitated, less sensitive to pain, and therefore your neuropathic condition will not be nearly as severe. So, how do we determine if your brain is balanced or not? Well, we have a number of different functional evaluation methods in functional neurology as a specialty to evaluate how well the left cerebellum is capable of balancing and coordinating, or the right cerebellum to balance and coordinate. And then we also have other examination methods to look at your cranial nerves and investigate smell, sight, eye movement, facial sense, facial expression, balance, swallowing, heart, lungs, and GI performance, neck movement, tongue movement. So when we understand which side of the brain is weaker, we can stimulate it in very gentle ways to improve its performance, with the ultimate goal to make the left brain similar in strength as the right brain, or vice versa. Once again, when that occurs, when we balance your brain, the limbic system is not as sensitive, so you perceive less pain, and your neuropathy is not as detrimental to your health. So your neuropathy does not affect your life nearly as severely. Now let's talk about how we are going to approach your neuropathic condition from a biochemistry perspective. First, we will analyze your blood serum for antibodies which attack your nerves and other parts of your body, but we will also look at antibodies against food proteins that may be complicating your overall health picture. Further, we will look at whether you have intestinal permeability, and this is also known as leaky gut syndrome, which is a common term for that. We will also be revealing that on a blood serum profile. Remember that chart showing the limbic system in your brain? Well, if your brain chemistry is out of balance, it can affect your entire brain, including its perception of pain, as I mentioned before, and that amplifies your perception of pain. That is why we will analyze your urine to measure neurotransmitters from the brain. There's been a lot of research on that. Abnormal levels of brain chemistry can also cause abnormalities in sleep, moods, energy, memory, focus, libido, and more. It is important that we also look at your hormone levels in your saliva. Abnormal hormone levels from your adrenal glands and other endocrine glands can affect your brain and your entire body, just like brain chemistry, so we need to be thorough and check that too. Many times it is a combination of autoimmune antibodies, brain neurochemistry, and hormones, all adding up to a cocktail that is toxic to your nerves and to your brain, and we should be diligent and do something about it so we can reverse this process that's so painful. Once we gather all of the evidence, we can then put together a plan of action and begin this repair process. Your action plan, guided by me, could look something like this. 1, we repair the intestinal permeability, or leaky gut syndrome, with potent but gentle nutraceutical medical food that will heal the inflamed membranes and allow for a return to normal digestive function. 2, remove all the offending and inflammatory foods from your diet and replace them with healing and anti-inflammatory foods. We find that out from the blood serum test. 3, add in other nutraceutical medical foods that calm the immune system, soothe the adrenal glands, balance the brain chemistry, and significantly reduce systemic inflammation. This will help you a lot. As you participate in this team effort and this process goes forward, you will feel steady empowerment while your body heals, pain lessens, and your body recovers from general systemic breakdown. Listen to what Paula says, and also Gloria, about their experiences and the improvement they've had with this natural approach.
Hi, my name is Paula, and I've been coming to Dr. Hansbrough's for about 6 months now. And when I came to him, I was in pretty bad shape. I had digestive problems, I had terrible dizziness, I had a lot of pain, I had sound issues, where sound was bothering me, and I was in pretty bad shape. Couldn't sleep at night, and I have to say that since I've started with all of the treatments he's given me, the neuropharmaceuticals and the testing that we have done, we have been able to repair almost all of that now. I'm sleeping wonderfully. I have very little pain. We're almost through that, and I can honestly say that it has been a wonderful experience for me. And to top it off, I lost weight, which I wasn't even expecting to do. So if you're having any of these issues, please do not hesitate to come in and have a conversation. And I can almost guarantee you that Dr. Hansbrough can help you.
Hi, I'm Gloria. I made my last video for Dr. Randy Hansbrough about 3 weeks ago, and I was starting to feel a little better then, but I'm now feeling really good. I mean, I have the energy when I get up in the morning, and it's just good to be up and around and feeling good again. I went to my regular doctor last week, and my blood work and everything was so improved. I had lost weight. My blood work was perfect. She took me off some of my medications. I'm off about 4 of my medications now, and hoping to get rid of more. And mostly all I can say, it just feels so great. Without Dr. Hansbrough, I would not be able to say all these things. It's good to be alive again. I feel more like the me I used to be.
These are just 2 examples of many patients of mine who have taken charge of their lives and gotten their neuropathy conditions under control. And it is what you can experience too when we work together to get to the underlying cause. Now, you should know that the longer you wait to do something about this, the worse it is likely to become, and the more challenging it will be to turn it around. Many have told me that I was their last chance to regain control of the normalcy that they once had. They remember the days of no nerve pain, having a good night's sleep, plenty of energy, a clear mind, normal weight, no aches and pains, no numbness, burning, pain, tingling, and other pleasantries of a healthy life. I'm here to tell you, you can have that too. All you have to do is call me, set up an appointment for a consultation, and we'll take it from there. Let me and my friendly, caring staff, Jody and Marion, get your life going again. I really look forward to meeting you soon. Thank you.